one thing that does make me nervous is when Ben Shapiro has that uh-oh look on his face, and he's wearing enough pancake makeup to make him look like a real boy. I don't know if he was auditioning for Pinocchio today, or the caterpillars went for a walk and he fell asleep and they walked through a powder puff on their way back. It's very disturbing. But this is Trump is being indicted? Double question mark. This is Ben Shapiro's. We haven't really seen any of his takes on the Mar-a-Lago search and seizure, and I'm curious because he's semi-famous right now amongst the kind of outer rims of Republicans because he told everybody they got to start distancing themselves from Trump. We'll see if he sticks to that because, he does have a very omen-y kind of energy here. Yeah, that's your nephew's idol. That's adorable.
And good.
Hold on. Here we go.
At the same exact time that this is happening, of course.
Of course, I'm going to start in the middle of this because, this is where all the show is programmed by, Adderall Central. So, obviously, I cut this clip and I put it on the thing, but it's important that you don't even know the context of what I'm talking about. Just jump right into the middle of this thing because why would you even need to know this?
You have the FBI and the DOJ investigating President Trump.
No, you don't. No. You don't. You must not. I love how he shakes his head. He does the same thing Mark Levin does, which is say something and always shake your head no.
And after 4 long years of our intelligence services and our DOJ investigating the actual president of the United States,
the former president,
on the false basis that he must have been colluding with the Russians to twist
not a false basis,
the 2016 election.
That's a lie. Ben Shapiro's lying. The Mueller report did not exonerate Trump in any way, shape, or form. Barr kept him from being indicted. He ran the Justice Department in a way where a sitting president cannot be indicted, and they didn't let him look. He did not let the Mueller team look at Trump's finances, which would be primary reasoning as to why he would engage in this kind of collusion in the first place. It's not because he's he believes that nuclear secrets need to be spread out through the world so that mutual assured destruction will protect us all. It's not because of that. It's because one day he wants a Trump Tower Moscow, and he wasn't expecting to win, so he was happy to trade any information he got at any given point.
A lot of people are, I think, correctly, very, very suspicious of the FBI being weaponized on behalf of the current administration.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Look, that's like saying a lot of people I know who have fallen for 3-card Monte on the subway and lost a good deal of money are, of course, afraid of decks of cards and do not trust decks of cards sitting on the rack. Anytime they see a deck of cards, they're obviously clearly nervous about the idea that, someone could be, even if they hear someone shuffling a deck of cards, they feel like I'm going to get cheated again. Not because the magician to their right did anything bad, but because they're a fucking gullible asshole who lost their rent playing 3-card Monte on a fucking subway car.
To go against the guy that they are now attempting to, number one, elevate in the headlines prior to the election.
I'm sorry. You do realize Trump could have avoided, quote, being elevated in the headlines simply by returning this shit. Hold on one second. Let's see if... See if this... Yeah. I mean, this might work. Hold on. Now whoops, hold on. Jesus Christ. Is this better? Too much? Maybe these are better. Hold on. Nope, that's pretty bad. Hold on one second. I like these better. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah. Anyway, what you were saying? Anyways, yeah. That like obviously a lot of these people are very nervous, very upset, very nervous, very upset, upset and nervous and upset and nervous, concerned. Obviously, because they feel like they cannot trust the FBI because they backed a guy who would violate federal law. And, that completely makes sense. Like, how do you not know that that's not just how things, of course, that's how it's going to, if you're going to do that, then. Why would I want to join a club that would have someone like me as a member?
And number two,
Number two. 1, 2. Gotcha.
to either make the nominee or to indict. Right? Those are the various choices they're putting in front of the American people.
Yes, the American people must make two choices. One is they have to think about Donald Trump when they would not think about Donald Trump. They wouldn't think about Donald Trump. There's nothing to think about with Donald Trump. And the reason the FBI is going after him is because they want you to think Donald Trump. They want you to think Donald Trump. They don't want you to focus on the fact that he was stealing secrets and it is their duty to get them back. That's what this is about. This is about embarrassing him by quietly going to his property and not alerting the media that they were there, and the president himself putting out a big fucking statement that said that they'd laid siege to and were occupying Mar-a-Lago. Obviously, this was all part of the Democrats' cunning plan.
A lot of people are wondering
are those caterpillars on my face?
Are you talking about democracy again when it seems as though you are perfectly willing to avoid any democratic accountability on any score?
Yeah. Any democratic accountability, like, I don't know, the fact that Biden won by trouncing Trump and the FBI director that Trump appointed agrees with him that a crime is being committed. Fucking democracy.
Which raises the question of what happens next with regard to the FBI and DOJ and Donald Trump.
Right.
So it seems pretty obvious at this point that the land and the king are one. Republicans must understand that Trump is the party is the party of Trump, and we can never separate ourselves from him because this is what the Democrats would want. They want us to separate ourselves from Trump, and we cannot, we must not. We are fused with him. We are conjoined at the asshole. We are a human centipede of conservative values. By apparently all legal analysis, that the DOJ is very likely to try and push an indictment of Donald Trump at this point.
What was Exhibit A your first clue?
According to Bloomberg, they're going to wait until after midterm elections to do this.
In theory.
Which, of course, means that this is going to hover over the midterm elections.
Hovering. That's the worst. It's like a legal drone strike, illegally done on legal people. The Biden is got a drone hovering around Mar-a-Lago. Nah, I'm kidding. That's a Chinese agent.
Which may be the point here. According to
probably. Yep.
Bloomberg, federal prosecutors are likely to wait until after the November election to announce any charges against Trump if they determine he broke laws, according to people familiar. The unprecedented prospect of bringing charges against him.
This is my favorite show in the whole world, by the way, is Ben Shapiro reads from his laptop. It's a great show. It's we all wish that maybe one day Don Jr. would learn a little bit of a lesson from Ben Shapiro and read from his laptop instead of just looking down at his desk. Or maybe instead of Greg Kelly going, I cannot look at the camera in front of me, right? Everybody take a quill out of Ben Shapiro's quiver. Sure. And just read from your laptop as quickly and tightly as possible.
The former U.S. president is creating intense scrutiny of the Justice Department in the aftermath of the search of his home at Mar-a-Lago. A separate DOJ probe is focused on his effort to overturn the 2020 election, which he lost.
Which word makes your head go back? That's what I want to know. When you're reading a word, do you feel like you're being punched by conjunctions? Conjunction, what's your function? Punching Ben in the face as he reads them. Ow. I hate and. Fuck you, the. Quit it, of. Seriously. He reads like one of those birds that dips into that red liquid at high speed.
To President Biden under long-standing department policy.
And the little finger scrolling is nice, too. And a long string of policies. Sold American.
Prosecutors are barred from taking investigative steps or filing charges for the purpose of affecting an election or helping a candidate or party, traditionally 60 days before an election.
Right. Might point to why people in the FBI weren't supposed to talk about the Hunter Biden bullshit 60 days before an election either. See, this situation is where it protects Trump, but when it protects Biden, they're against it. Fuck you.
This year, that would be September 10th, which makes it unlikely anything would be announced until after November 8th. Now, of course, the department has ignored that policy in recent years. Most notably, when FBI Director James Comey revealed the FBI.
Right, exactly. When it benefited Trump.
was reopening a probe into Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server just days,
which turned out to be bullshit,
before the 2016 presidential election.
Right.
And in 2020, former AG William Barr announced in the weeks before the presidential election, department officials could make public announcements and take overt investigative steps with regard to voter fraud cases. This time around, the impact of any criminal
there just weren't any
case against Trump would likely be significant.
They could also, if they wanted to, try to swim to the moon. But he told them to wear comfy shoes first because they might land hard and always leave from the ground.
He isn't on the ballot in November, but of course he has endorsed a bunch of candidates. And of course, Democrats hope that he is top of mind when people go into the voting booth.
Why would they want to do that? Why would they want Trump to be top of mind if he's the greatest president ever and he's done everything he ever wanted and people love him and everything about him and all this stuff? Wouldn't Democrats want you to forget about him entirely and not even think about him during the election? Because people might go, ooh, if there's MAGA Republicans running, they might do more of what Trump did. I should vote for them. It seems a little counterintuitive, doesn't it, Ben?
Very obvious from the way that they are treating President Trump. It's why Joe Biden is giving a speech that is going to be directed almost specifically against President Trump.
No. It was, if you'll recall, these are better. Hold on one second. Hold on. I like these better. Nope. Let's see. That's not going to work. Literally, it's just exhausting. I'm just going to remove mine. Is that better? It's a little weird. It's relaxing, though, I will say. Man, let me talk to this feller. I like his little... It's funny that right before... The timing's not real good. Right before Dark Brandon did his Red MAGA gathering, Ben Shapiro changed his set to look almost identical. Coincidence? I think not. Do you even MAGA, bro? Why are you using the Dark Brandon... Dark Brandon's probably standing right behind that wall. Probably right behind that wall. He's giving off a red glow right behind you. This looks exactly like Freedom Hall, man. Get the fuck out of here. Look at that. Hold on. Let me bring up, where's that picture? Let's see. Biden, red, Philadelphia. I don't know how you spell Philadelphia. There you go. There you go. Images. Where are you going? There you go. Hey, look at that. Tell me they ain't shopping at the same lighting store. Oh my God. Ben Shapiro is Team Dark Brandon. Fuck a doodle, man. I wouldn't trust him. MAGA. Run fast as you can. Ben Shapiro's tricking you. First of all, I've always been very suspect of him. Not only can he read, but he reads real fast. He sounds like an elite to me, if you know what I mean. And now he's got the Dark Brandon lighting in his fucking studio. I call Hinky.
But meanwhile, on the other side of the aisle, a lot of people...
Jeez. The other side of the aisle? What are we, in a movie theater? Get me some popcorn.
People are looking and saying, wait a second.
Wait a second. Hang on. Stop. Hold it. Don't go any further. Wait a second. Hang on. What are they saying?
Do we believe the FBI when they say...
I think so. I mean, I have to say, like, 1962 FBI, I've got my questions under Hoover. But, like, you're asking me to put the hate on Clarice Starling, and I ain't going to do it. I got a good idea, you dumb motherfucker. Instead of you and I debating, which I'd gladly do, how about we have an FBI Files watch party? All the episodes are on fucking Hulu or Discovery Plus, and we can just sit there and watch FBI guys running into doors, getting themselves shot up, chasing down murderers and criminals and child molesters and kidnappers and all that kind of stuff. And I'll sit there and go, man, they doing a good job. And you can sit there going, I don't believe it. I think that Bundy fella's lovely. How about that, dipshit? How about we do that? How about you and I sit there and watch we'll watch Blacklist together. And you can sit there and go, I think these people aren't really trying to catch criminals. I think they siding with criminals. Love Hannibal more than Clarice. He does. Fuck Hannibal, man. Look, just because he's got a nice set of pearly whites doesn't mean it's not. I ain't hating on him because he's able to eat human meat.
Say that this was
you're damn right Ted Bundy was a Republican. That's the point I was making there, Antony. Thanks for pointing that out, man.
Such a vital national security interest that they had to raid Mar-a-Lago and indict the former president of the United States.
They didn't raid the place, man. They served a search warrant on it. Nobody came in on black ropes through the fucking skylights like it was the end of Christmas Vacation, you dumb motherfucker. They walked up and knocked. They didn't even bother people who was renting rooms at the fucking place. Somebody was there on their honeymoon, pumping and sweating, and they didn't even get FBI, can we watch? They didn't get any of that shit.
A person who had plenary power as president of the United States to declassify anything while he was president of the United States.
Bullshit. There's a process, dumb fuck. He does not have plenary power to declassify. There's a process so people don't get fucking killed.
So originally,
Ben Shapiro didn't like Trump. In the middle of the presidency, he didn't like Trump then either. He doesn't like him now. But right now, he wants you to think he's an innocent victim. Because the revenuers came knocking on his door in one of his 5 fucking rental properties he lives in, like some sort of Airbnb millionaire.
The sort of suspicion was, there's no way that the FBI and the DOJ are going to indict Donald Trump over.
Yeah, well, that was what Trump thought. Boy, was he wrong.
He's mishandling documents.
No, it's the mishandling part, man. He mishandles pussy. He steals documents.
Classified documents. That would be kind of wild.
It'd be crazy. Come on. Whoo! Get wild up in here. Come on.
The former president of the United States, while he was president, had plenary power to declassify.
Yeah, but you got to do it. You got to do the paperwork. And he did the paperwork on some of it, but not on the rest of it. Fuck you. He can't steal shit.
Whether he made that claim or not, the simple fact is, when he was president of the United States, he could theoretically just wave his hand over the papers and say,
bullshit.
All of this stuff is declassified.
No, he couldn't. Because somebody'd have to be a witness to it. Because if he had a fucking heart attack in a room, some asshole, or he got poisoned by somebody who was placed in his inner circle, and they came out and went, by the way, as he was keeling over, he was in the process of saying, I declassify all this shit. So trust me, I'm Kash Patel. Fuck off with this nonsense. No, you can't.
And Trump has sort of sporadically made that defense of himself.
He makes sporadic defenses everywhere, dum-dum. That's his thing.
But beyond that...
What'd you get, spinach on your teeth? He sporadically did it. Every time I hear the word sporadically, I can feel the film growing across my molars and my incisors.
Yeah. The idea that...
What's left of them.
The thing that is going to bring down the chief political rival to the current president of the United States is mishandling classified material, not any underlying traitorous behavior, not any underlying serious intent to do a damaging crime to the United States of America.
Boy, you sure are in a big fucking hurry to throw yourself under his ass as he's falling down, lips up.
Mishandling of classified documentation. A lot of people are looking at that, they're going, wait a second.
Wait a moment. Hang on. No, I wasn't. What was it? Why?
That seems highly political.
No, again, man, who gives a fuck when people go, that seems a little weird. I might want to look into the details. Holy fuck, that's a lot of classified information.
Because here's one thing we know.
Here's one thing we know. He was supposed to give the shit back. His representative signed a piece of paper saying that he's going to give the shit back, and he didn't give the shit back. Also, yeah, I think he shit on your back.
We know that the Justice Department and the FBI set an actual standard when it came to mishandling classified information. So let's assume for a second.
Yeah, that's their standard. Here we go. Let's do it. Let's just assume for a moment that what?
That all of Donald Trump's kind of supposed defenses are pretexts.
That they're lies.
Didn't actually declassify.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Any of these documents. That he did what they're accusing him of doing. That he actually brought home the classified documents. He stacked them in his closet. And then when the National Archives asked for them, he didn't turn them over.
Yeah, that's so far, I'm with you.
Assume all of that is true. James Comey set an actual standard for what it would take to prosecute a public official for mishandling classified documentation. Because you will remember that Hillary Clinton was using her private email address for classified documents and putting those things on an email address means that they're online.
No, doesn't mean. It's a private server connected to the Secretary of State. It was an intranet set up there.
And you'll recall that she then, when she was asked to turn over her servers, she actually erased the servers. And she used a program called BleachBit to essentially get rid of all of the...
Yeah, they were given a copy of it, and then they got rid of the original so nobody else could get a hold of it. They have all the stuff that was on there, man.
Those emails. You'll also remember that many of those emails then popped up on an outside computer, Anthony Weiner's computer, along with whatever pornography he had been sending his lady...
No, it was Huma Abedin's computer. Anthony was using it.
...friends. So not exactly a wonderful storage of classified materials from Hillary Clinton. She claimed, of course, she didn't know declassification.
Again, lying because it was Huma Abedin's computer.
Protocols, or that these documents were classified. That was very likely to be untrue, considering she'd been in government for a very, very long time and that she had been the Secretary of State.
All right, and how many of these in the documents recovered, including the ones they got back from Comey and the ones they got back from Hillary Clinton and the kind that were on there, how many of them were secured compartmentalized information? How many of them were top secret? How many of them were secret? How many of them were secure intel? How many of them were human intel? I'll give you 3 guesses, and the first 2 don't count. None, you dumb motherfucker.
But James Comey decided, you know what? That's not the standard for prosecution. That may be the standard under the law. That's not the standard for prosecution. So he said a couple of things that are relevant to what's happening now with Donald Trump. Because if you're talking about the perception of a democracy working in the United States.
Yeah, that's the important thing. We're talking about perception. I'm sorry. I thought we were talking about material reality. That's my bad. I totally misunderstood you. Please keep talking.
One of the elements of that is equal protection of the laws.
Equal protection under the law, not of the law. We don't equally protect the laws themselves. Some laws suck and we actually try to get rid of them, and other laws anyways.
Equal application of the laws.
That's a little closer.
Non-selective prosecution when it comes to prosecuting high public officials and former presidents of the United States for mishandling classified documents.
Right. Yeah, especially, and relating it to volume and the level of documents obviously creates a severity. Also, we do selectively prosecute stuff because we offer like plea deals and all kinds of shit to all kinds of people all the fucking time, man. Don't ask me how I know that. Hold on, play something, dummy.
And none of this means that Donald Trump didn't handle the classified documents sloppily.
Yeah, you just don't give a fuck.
It does mean that apparently is not the criminal standard, according to James Comey.
No, dummy. Not all classified documents are created equal. These ones said top secret, secure, compartmentalized information, you dumb motherfucker. They ain't like, the president's going to be here on Wednesday, which is classified, but after Wednesday, it ain't classified no more. It still says classified because you might be able to read it and tell, how long ahead of time they plan shit and all that kind of stuff, but it sure as fuck ain't top secret.
James Comey said 2 things of relevance.
He said a lot of things
in this press conference where he announced that Hillary would not be prosecuted. This is back during summer of 2016. He said, 1, there is a very high probability that America's enemies actually did gain control of many classified information secrets from Hillary Clinton's computer.
They didn't. That probability turned out not to be the case. 2 years on, they looked into it. You can't pretend time didn't pass, dumb fuck.
And 2, that wasn't enough to indict her. Even that wasn't enough to indict her.
Right, because of probability. Because you'd have to show intent, and the Espionage Act shows intent. The problem with Trump is he hid these documents in other things, sneaking them out of the fucking White House. They were taken out of the boxes and taken to his fucking office and taken out of the folders and not put back in the folders, even in folders that said you're supposed to give this folder back when you're done with it. And that happened after his people signed a piece of paper saying none of this shit exists. You get it?
Here was James Comey at the time.
Looking back at our investigations into the mishandling or removal.
He's a tall drink of water, by the way.
Of classified information, we cannot find a case that would support bringing criminal charges on these facts.
Right, because there was no intent and no proof that it actually got out. It was a violation of policy. None of the stuff got in the wind. None of it showed up on the internet. DNC got hacked. Colin Powell got fucking hacked. David Petraeus got fucking hacked. The State Department itself got fucking hacked. You know what didn't get hacked? Hillary's fucking server.
All the cases prosecuted involved some combination of clearly intentional and willful mishandling of classified information.
Right, which we have in the Trump situation, obviously.
Or vast quantities of information exposed in such a way as to support an inference of intentional misconduct.
Right. Sounds like Mar-a-Lago, man.
Or indications of disloyalty to the United States.
Oh, it's still on, like hitting the fucking points, buddy.
Or efforts to obstruct justice. We do not.
Yeah, dude, there's files that are missing out of folders. Like, yeah, nailed it. Just take that hand, make a little point, and whoop, right up the keister, dude. I'm just telling you.
See those things here.
Yes. Oh, you look a little upset, fucko. Hey, man, listen here. This case in Mar-a-Lago satisfies all 4 of those fucking points, dummy. All 4 of them. Every single one.
Okay, so he just ignored, by the way, the quote-unquote efforts to obstruct justice. Among the things that he ignored there was Hillary Clinton bleach bidding her servers.
Yeah, but they turned over a copy of it, shitstick. They bleach bit the original so it couldn't get a win. So it could, because if you throw it out, if you're going to dispose of it, it's gone. And if you just, well, we're not going to, here's a copy of it, like you asked. They were still using it at the time. They sent an exact forensic copy while they were still using it. And then when they were all done with it, they smashed it up and fucked it off so nobody could reconstitute what was on it. They know better. To make sure none of that shit got in the wind, dummy. I got news for you. Don't believe me? Hey, man, I'm mostly on cars, motorcycles, and I'll tinker a bit, man. I'll tinker with your CNC like a motherfucker. Do me a favor. Take that laptop you got right there in front of you and hit it. Hit it real hard. Bang it on the edge of the desk just a couple times so the screen cracks, and then chuck it in the fucking garbage. See if I can't get every fucking thing off of it that's there. Let me tell you something, son. You're going to want to bleach bit every hard drive you have in your possession if you're not going to use it anymore. Even if it's fucking dead. You ever have a hard drive where it stops working and you're like, goddamn, that had all my Pornhub downloads on it. Oh, well, going to have to make another one. And you're like, well, let's see. I don't want anybody else to find that, hook it up to their laptop, right? And so don't just smash it, man. You got to pour some acid down that thing. You guys know shit about security? God damn. Look at him. Look at him. He got his eyebrows are going, huh? You hear me?
I mean, that seems like a pretty good effort to not turn over the evidence of what exactly you were storing on your computer. But
yeah, dum-dum. It's so that what you were storing on the computer that you were currently using that you'd already given a copy of, that they never asked for the final copy of it. They didn't ask for her physical server after the fact. They asked for the file. So they gave a copy of the whole fucking thing over to them. They had it. And then the original one, when they were done, and anywhere where any of those files might have been, they fucked them up. So nobody else could get them. Dummy.
Apparently that wasn't enough.
No, it wasn't enough. Dude, there's a dude that flies with Putin and scoops his turds up.
And as I say, James Comey even went on to say that there's a good probability that a lot of the classified information Hillary Clinton was storing actually got out to, say, the Chinese or the Russians.
Yeah, just say the Chinese and Russians. He didn't say the Chinese and Russians, but they didn't, for the record. They did not. There's a Russian woman calling herself Anna Rothschilds that was hanging around Mar-a-Lago all last fucking year. Are you concerned that some of these files that were in Trump's fucking desk or in a box in his office, which I'm sure had a massively complicated lock on it, like a turlet, like an outhouse hinge?
We did not find direct evidence that Secretary Clinton's personal email domain, in its various configurations since 2009, was hacked successfully.
Right. We did find that a woman named Anna Rothschilds had been hanging around, bumming around Mar-a-Lago for a fucking year.
But given the nature of the system and of the actors potentially involved,
hey, some of my best friends are actors.
we assess we would be unlikely to see such direct evidence. We do assess that hostile actors gained access to the private commercial email accounts of people with whom Secretary Clinton was in regular contact from her personal account.
Right. They got Podesta, they got Colin Powell, they got David Petraeus.
We also assess
they didn't get her.
That Secretary Clinton's use of a personal email domain was both known by a large number of people and readily apparent. She also
Well, it didn't help that you guys were yelling about it.
Used her personal email extensively while outside the United States, including sending and receiving work-related emails in the territory of sophisticated adversaries.
Yeah, but they had their own closed-loop internet that they used when she was traveling, because that's what the Secretary of State's office does.
Given that combination of factors,
remember,
we assess it is possible that hostile actors gained access to Secretary Clinton's personal email account.
That was not enough to indict her.
No, it wasn't. Because the Espionage Act had to show intent or wanton disregard. They showed none of those things. Even the classified stuff wasn't top secret or secret. I mean, this is fucking... Why are you fighting so hard to defend this motherfucker when it's open and fucking obvious that he has SCI documents in his fucking house that he never declassified?
Okay, now, what are the chances that somebody actually gained access to the classified information in Donald Trump's closet, under his mattress?
Under his mattress? The fuck you talking about, man? There's a cardboard box in his office. There was a woman... Jesus Christ, man. Let me tell you what. I'll tell you what there wasn't on Hillary Clinton's trips overseas. There wasn't a woman pretending to be a Rothschild hanging out at fucking Mar-a-Lago, coming and going from the fucking property. Yeah, there she is. Recognize that place? Anna de Rothschild never went on a flight with Hillary Clinton.
You think it's better or worse than Hillary Clinton exposing classified information on an email server? I mean, the answer is pretty obvious, but that was not enough to indict her.
Asshat, of course not. You could show she didn't intend to hide this stuff. She intended to make sure it didn't get in the wind. Because it was digital. It wasn't paper copies. Motherfucker had paper copies. All right. We'll get back to Ficus or somebody else in a moment. We're going to finish up this video so that we can get
again,
on.
The standard that has to be applied here, if you actually wish for people to have any sort of faith in the institution,
is to arrest Trump immediately and then charge Hillary Clinton with a non-jailable misdemeanor, because the extremity of his crimes is far outpaces anything she was even accused of.
Has to be even. So I'll go back and I will tell you again. Here was James Comey's statement. He said that all of the cases
God damn, this is such this is like a high school debate moment where I'm going to fall back on this and like this straw man idea that I made up for myself.
Prosecuted like this have to involve a combination of, okay, one of these factors is not enough. It has to involve a combination of clearly intentional and willfully mishandling of classified information.
Done.
Or vast quantities of material exposed in such a way as to support an inference of intentional misconduct.
Yes. Top secret documents smuggled out of the White House with no sign that they were declassified, in between personal effects, stuffed in magazines and in between framed pictures to be smuggled out of the White House. Even if they were not done by Trump himself, Kash Patel should go to fucking jail for this.
That you were doing it because you intentionally wanted to expose this stuff.
Right. Basically having top secret document tours at Mar-a-Lago. You pay him enough money, he'll invite you as a guest, and he'll take you into the storage room, and you could spend a little time alone with the documents.
Or indications of disloyalty, right? None of these exist for
Yes, they do.
President Trump.
Yes, they do. All of them exist. All of them. Just in the filings we've seen.
Even if you were to say that there was intentional and willful mishandling of classified information.
And I am.
That would not be enough, according to James Comey.
Right. Yeah, the fact that they were obscuring, they were obfuscating and trying to keep the NARA people and the FBI and the DOJ from getting documents back. They kept stiff-arming them. They ultimately hid things. They lied about doing a due diligence search of the storage room. They had moved things out of the storage room before that and then moved things back in.
Or efforts to obstruct justice. And remember, it has to be beyond the kind of stuff that Hillary did. Because
it is.
You could easily say that under Hillary's behavioral standard, there was a combination.
No, because it was digital. She gave a full copy, forensic copy of the server itself, and then they destroyed the physical copy when they were done using it when her term ended.
Of any clearly intentional and willful mishandling of classified information and an effort to obstruct justice. But they didn't do it by Hillary.
That's because most of that stuff had to do with scheduling. And this stuff is top secret. None of this stuff was ever even alleged to be secured compartmental information. Beyond the fact that confidential does not mean the same thing across the board, and that they don't tend to declassify things except on a time scale most of the time. We're talking about secret, top secret, and SCI and SI intel.
Okay, so does this mean that Donald Trump acted in model fashion with regard to classified documents?
Yeah, he wasn't perfect, guys, okay? He wasn't perfect. Why don't you, I mean, yeah, whatever, Mr. Perfect, like you don't know what it's like. He made a mistake.
No, but it does mean that when Americans think about the way that our democracy works, if the leading political contender for the presidency of the United States on the Democratic side of the aisle,
Ron DeSantis,
was exonerated by the FBI in 2016 for behavior that looks extraordinarily similar.
It doesn't look extraordinarily similar unless you remove a multitude of facts and shuffle things around and do a bunch of whataboutism.
The stuff that Donald Trump, the leading presidential candidate on the right side of the aisle, at least by polling data right now.
At least by polling data right now. You mean he's got 49%? Half of them would leave in a fucking heartbeat if he decides not to run. Yeah, he's the titular head of the party.
If that behavior looks the same, the Democrat gets exonerated, the Republican gets indicted.
Yeah, tell you what. Show me on the doll where the bad man touched you, but show me where Comey or anyone came out and said, we found files and these files were categorized secret, top secret, above top secret, SCI and SI. Show me.
A lot of people are going to start thinking, well, maybe our democratic system of government is not working particularly well.
Oh yeah, it's democracies that's the fucking problem. Our democratic system is not working very well. Fuck you. Democracy is at fault in this fucking situation. So Trump can, all we have to do to wreck democracy is let Trump get away with stealing documents. That if we even look at that, or not let him get away with it, if we look the other way, you know, then that, look, you can keep your democracy as long as you leave him alone. The fuck kind of standard is that? I thought they were the law and order party anyways. Shouldn't be like, look, you guys may not want to throw your criminals in jail, but we'll throw ours in jail. Of course, that never works out that way. It's the Democrats that get broomed immediately if they get busted for something, whereas Democrats have to be dragged kicking and screaming out of campaign offices for being busted for child sex trafficking.
And as it now looks like, all of the factors seem stacked in favor of the DOJ actually indicting Trump, which is going to bring things to a head pretty damned quickly here, which is why Merrick Garland really, just for the sake of the democracy, got to be incredibly careful. If you're going to bring a case like this, it better be bulletproof. You're going to have to demonstrate, not just.
Yeah, they know
that Donald Trump did the things you're accusing him of doing, but that they radically differ from the things that allowed Hillary Clinton to get away with it back in.
They do already. We know this. We've seen that case play out. Hold on. Trying to find the later on. Here you go. Open this up on its own. Review of various actions by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Department of Justice in advance of the 2016 election. This is about the response. Okay. Allegations that a department or FBI policies or procedure were not followed in connection with or actions leading up to related to the FBI Director James Comey's public announcement July 5th, 2016, and Comey's letters to Congress on October 28th and November 6th, 2016. Allegations of certain investigative decisions were based on improper considerations. Allegations that the FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe should have been recused from participating in certain investigative matters. Allegations Department that Assistant Attorney General for Legislative Affairs Peter Kadzik improperly disclosed non-public information and or should have been recused from participating in certain matters. Like, this is that whole thing. Executive summary of there we go. Ultimately, Comey's statement, endgame, yada, yada, yada. We'll go down to, let's see, reporting on 2016 on the Wiener laptop, initial response, FBI headquarters, re-engagement of FBI. There should be a conclusion in there's text and text messages. Use of personal email. Let's see. This is the business. Methodology to conclusion. Where's the chapter 4, chapter 5? This is a big report. That's out. That was a summary on the whole thing. Get back down here, silly. Conclusions, 497 page report. Let's see. All right. Let me get this up here. 497. Let's look at the conclusion, shall we? There you go. And there you go. Kazakh jobs. Hold on. 497. Where's? Oh, I see. These are different pages. Beg your pardon. They are numbered differently than the. Back up. Conclusions and recommendations. The Clinton email investigation was one of the highest profile investigations in FBI's history. However, it is just one of thousands of investigations handled each year by the approximately 35,000 FBI agents, analysts, and other professionals who dedicate their careers to protecting the American people and upholding the Constitution and the rule of law. Through the collective efforts of generations of FBI employees, the FBI has developed and earned a reputation as one of the world's premier law enforcement agencies. The FBI has gained its reputation in significant part because of its professionalism, impartiality, and non-political enforcement of the law, and adherence to detailed policies, practices, and norms. However, as we outlined in this report, certain actions during the mid-year investigation were inconsistent with these long-standing policies, practices, and norms. First, we found that several FBI employees who played critical roles in the investigation sent political messages, some of which related directly to the mid-year investigation, that created the appearance of bias and thereby raised questions about the objectivity and thoroughness of the mid-year investigation. Even more serious, text messages between Strzok and Page pertaining to the Russian investigation, particularly a text message from Strzok on August 8th stating, no, he's not, we'll stop it. In response to a Page's text, Trump's never going to become president, right, are not only indicative of a biased state of mind, but imply a willingness to take official action to impact the presidential candidate's electoral prospects. This is antithetical to the core values of the FBI and the Department of Justice. While we did not find documentary or testimony evidence that improper considerations, including political bias, directly affected the specific investigations and actions we reviewed in Chapter 5, the conduct by these employees cast a cloud over the entire FBI investigation and sowed doubt about the FBI's work on and its handling of the mid-year investigation. Okay, hold on. Second, in key moments, then Director Comey chose to deviate from the FBI and department's established procedures and norms and instead engaged in his own subjective, ad hoc decision-making. In doing so, we found that Comey largely based his decisions on what he believed was in the FBI's institutional interests and would enable him to continue to effectively lead the FBI as its director. While we did not find that these decisions were the result of political bias on Comey's part, we nevertheless concluded that by departing so clearly and dramatically from the FBI and department norms, the decision negatively impacted the perception of the FBI and department and the fair administration of justice. Yeah. None of this, more of this was about, I guess, this is the report on theirs, that it ultimately, because it didn't amount to anything, there was a 2018 report, hold on, 2018 Clinton server report. It describes Comey as yeah, okay, so that's the same one. Yeah.
In 2016.
That's the end of it. Okay. In 2016. Wholly different garbage. That, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Ben Shapiro and a bunch of flailing bullshit.